And I'm gonna head back to my mat. If you have a mat or a long towel to lay out on your floor, that'll probably be helpful. We're gonna be doing some exercises in standing, sitting, lying on your back, and some on hands and knees. So if you'd like a towel for the portion where we stretch the front of our legs while lying down, you might wanna grab a strap or a bathrobe sash. To get moving that way. If you're on hands and knees and you feel like you might need a little cushioning for that, maybe a sofa cushion or another little towel to roll up would be helpful there. And when we sit cross-legged, if you have an issue with that, if your hips are tight or it doesn't feel great on your knees to be sitting cross-legged, something to bolster up your bottom to get your bottom a little higher than your legs might be helpful as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move over toward my mat and we can get going. Right. So let's go ahead and stand up nice and tall, either on your mat or your towel or just behind it. We're going to get the feet a little bit wider than our shoulders and soften up our knees. Get yourself really anchored down to the floor. Your feet can be pointed out a little bit if that feels better. If you like them parallel, that's fine too. We're just going to soften our knees, take a big breath in, and exhaling, feel the weight of your feet sink down into the floor. You want to feel like you're centering yourself right over the front of your ankle joints. You should feel the weight going over and through your arches, which are the most stable part of your foot. So they'll give you a nice firm base of support to balance on. We're going to take another big breath in, bring those arms up and overhead, and we'll exhale them down. One more time, big breath in, and we'll exhale them down. And let's go ahead and start by turning our head side to side. We're going to look over one shoulder and back to the center and to the other side and center. And look, take it forward to the other side and look forward. One more time to each. And turn the head and take it forward. We'll go ear to shoulder now. Sideways and up and sideways and up. As you tip your ear towards your shoulder, you could deepen that stretch by dropping those opposite fingertips down toward the mat. Come up tall and side bend, maybe dropping those fingers and come up tall. You could also take your hands behind your back as you stretch your head side to side to get into that lower part of the upper trap muscles and side. We'll mix this one up a little bit. We're going to rotate our heads to the side and then look down toward our collarbone and the edge of the shoulder. We'll take it back up. Ooh, tip the ear to the shoulder. Look down to your side. And take it up. And tip. Rotate down. And tip to the other side. Rotate down. And we'll bring that head up nice and tall. Let's go ahead and roll our shoulders back in circles. It's nice to kind of prime those muscles in the upper back to keep you upright, whether you're going to be walking around, standing around in your kitchen for a bit, chasing after your kids, typing on the computer, which I would suspect most of us are going to be doing a little bit of today. Let's go ahead and roll the shoulders the other direction. You could let your elbows go along for the ride a little bit if that feels good. We'll take one more circle back the other way just to anchor ourselves nice and upright. And we're going to take our elbows to our sides, rotate those forearms out to the side, letting the breastbone come up to the ceiling, and then we'll rotate back in. Rotate out, opening up, and take it back to the center. Rotate it out, and back to the center. Rotate it out, and then back to the center. And let's take ourselves through some standing up snow angels. We'll take those arms all the way up overhead with the palms facing forward. And then let's take them all the way back to the sides. Try to get those hands back so they at least line up with your chest. Maybe taking them back a little farther if you have a little more room in your pec muscles to stretch out the front. Inhale, take them all the way up overhead. This time as we exhale, we're going to keep the hands back and bend those elbows a bit, making little goalposts with our hands as we take them all the way down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down, bending those elbows, taking them back down. And we'll take them down by the sides. Let's take those hands and bring them back behind your body. So we're going to try to keep the trunk upright as we do this and try to keep those shoulders from hunching forward. We can keep those thumbs spinning out to the sides, maybe even pointing back toward the wall behind us. We'll give it a little pulse here just to wake up those shoulder blade muscles a little bit. We'll pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clasp your hands behind your back if you can. Maybe we straighten those elbows out and take those arms back a little farther. If they don't lift up, that's okay. Those elbows could be bent, your hands could be back behind your small of your back. We can reach those armpits back a little bit. We can reach those elbows back toward the wall behind us. Let's take one more big breath in here. And then exhaling, we'll let those shoulders down. Maybe roll them out a little bit more. And we'll step those feet away from the center of the body. Let's take one elbow. We're going to cross that arm across the body. Grab onto your elbow with your other hand. Keeping that elbow straight, we'll draw that shoulder blade back toward the wall behind you, giving you a stretch through that top side of the upper arm. Take a couple breaths in, and as you pull here, you might feel a stretch across your mid-back too, across that shoulder blade. Let's go ahead and switch arms. That opposite arm stays straight. We grab right around the elbow, pull that straight arm across the body, dropping that shoulder back toward the wall behind us. Could add a little head tip if that feels good. One more breath here. Switch it again. Go ahead and pull that arm across. If you want to get into the side of the arm a little bit more, you could bend that elbow a little bit, wrap it around toward the opposite shoulder blade, and it gives you a little more leverage to pull that other elbow across your body. If you get a pinch in the front of that shoulder, back off on that stretch a little bit. We'll go ahead and switch to the other side one more time. Take that straight arm across, dropping the shoulder back. And then maybe bending that elbow, using that as a little more leverage to push that elbow towards your opposite shoulder. We'll take one more breath here. And then take the arms back down. We're going to bend one elbow, bringing that hand towards your shoulder. We'll give that triceps a little stretch by pressing that elbow up, maybe getting it overhead, depending on how your shoulder range is feeling. Remember that if you try these again later in the day, you might notice a different amount of stretch. You might be less stiff. You might be a little more stiff if you've been on your computer. Might be a good time to take a break, maybe in a couple of hours, and try a few of these upper body stretches again. We can add to the stretch by side bending, getting into the side of the trunk a little bit. Drop that shoulder away from your ear. We'll take it up tall and switch the arms. Opposite elbow bends. We bring that elbow up as high as you're comfortable bringing it up. We'll flip that arm up over your head a bit if you have the room. You hold it there, dropping the shoulder on the side you're stretching. We could take a side bend again. If you breathe in and out while you're side bent, you'll notice you get a little bit bigger stretch through that side you're moving away from, stretching all those muscles between your ribs. We'll take it up tall. Switch the arms again. Let's give it one more stretch, including that side bend to each side. We'll take it up. Remember, you can always do any portion of the stretch. It should feel good to move. You should feel like you're oiling some squeaky wheels, squeaky joints. Shouldn't feel like a huge struggle. We'll go ahead and windmill those arms down by the sides. Again, taking the shoulders back and down. Maybe tipping an ear to the side again. Lengthening out those muscles that we just kind of shortened a bit when we stretch those other ones. Let's take it back to the middle. We'll move on to our forearms. We'll take one arm straight out in front of you, elbow straight, shoulder height. We're going to bend that palm down, hang on to the back of the hand. Give it a gentle pull, maybe wiggling that wrist side to side to get into different angles of your forearm. Make sure that shoulder's dropped away from your ears. And we'll switch arms. Keeping that elbow straight as you can. We'll drop that wrist down, sending the back of the wrist facing your screen. Switch it up again one more time on the other side. Back of the hands facing your computer screen here. One more breath, and we'll switch it again. Another really good one to do if you found you've been sitting at your keyboard for longer than your body might be happy with. One more breath, and we'll switch it up, keeping that arm at shoulder height. We'll flip the palm up so it faces your screen. We'll hang on to that palm, give it a gentle pull back, focusing on getting a little bit of length through the underside of that forearm. We can again wiggle that palm side to side and get it to different angles of that forearm. Big breath in, and let's switch hands. Send the other palm forward towards your screen. Give it some gentle pressure and add that little wiggle if you want. One more breath here. And we'll go ahead and take it down. One more time on each. Stretch, palm to the screen, add that wiggle. And we'll switch it up. Little wiggle. One more breath. And as we let it go, we'll take those arms back down. We're going to turn facing vertically along that mat now. We're going to be making our way down to hands and knees. We can either get directly there, remembering again that you might want some cushioning down for something under your kneecaps if you feel like you need some more padding. Otherwise, we're going to get into our hamstrings a little bit to get down to that stretch. Remember, if this doesn't feel great on your back, if you feel like you're still needing a little bit of a warm-up, feel free to go right down to hands and knees and meet us there. Otherwise, we're going to hinge from our hips, soften up those knees just a bit, little gentle bend in them. And keeping that trunk nice and still, we're going to hinge forward. We're going to tip that tailbone back and the crown of the head forward until you feel the first little barrier, that first little bit of stretch. You could always be doing this sitting in a chair if you want to get to that little stretch position, but you're not feeling completely stable on your feet right now. We're going to find that barrier whether you're sitting or standing. Hold it there. Let's take a couple breaths. Inhale and exhale, maybe coming down a little farther toward that parallel position, that flat back. And we can wiggle into those knees a little bit. We could bend and straighten. Notice my lower legs aren't moving much, if at all. It's my tailbone coming up toward the ceiling and then dropping slightly down. Let's do one more little stretch here. We can bend up, taking the slack off, and we can make our way down to hands and knees. Again, find the padding that might feel appropriate, you think you might need there. We're going to line ourselves up on the mat. Knees and hips are lined up. Wrists and shoulders are lined up. My toes are turned under, but you're welcome to have them lying flat, depending on the flexibility that you have through your feet. And then from here, we're going to gently tip side to side, rock toward and away from your screen, pushing the floor away with your hands, just to get that core warmed up a little. We can tip a little bit forward and back. Try to keep the same curve in your back as we move forward and back through this exercise. Maybe you can make it all the way back towards your heels. Try that a couple more times. Last one. Rock it back. Take it forward. Again, we're moving to a range that feels comfortable on your knees, hips, shoulders. So mid-range is completely fine for this. And we're going to move through a few cats and cows. We're going to curl under, looking toward those thighs, and then reverse that direction, sending your breastbone forward and that tailbone up toward the ceiling. Let's move through a couple times here at your own speed. Finding a range that's working for you just to help loosen things up a little bit. We're connecting to your core in addition to lengthening through some of those muscles in your back and the front. Let's take ourselves right back to that mid-range position, that neutral. Wag your tail side to side. Send a hip toward a shoulder, and then the other hip toward the other shoulder. You want to keep that same forward to backward curve in your back. So if you had something balanced in the small of your back, even as you rock side to side, you should be able to keep that object balance if you're staying nice and level. Let's take it right back to the middle. The leg that's farthest from your screen is going to cross over toward your screen. Look toward that hip and look toward that shoe of the foot that you just crossed over. Switch it up. Opposite leg crosses over. Look over your shoulder toward that shoe. Take a breath in. And then exhaling, let's take ourselves back to that neutral hands and knees position. And then from here, we're going to thread the needle. The arm farthest from your screen comes out to the side. Maybe it reaches up and we look over the shoulder, and then let's thread the needle, bringing it through. Let's reach it up and out. Stretch it through. You're welcome to bend your supporting arm again a little bit, dropping that shoulder toward the mat. Take it up. Switch it through, maybe dropping. Again, find a range that's working for you. We'll make our way back up to hands and knees, reset. And that arm closest to your screen comes out. Find the amount of rotation you're comfortable with, if any. We'll thread the needle, reaching through between that arm and knee. Take it up. Thread the needle, maybe dropping that shoulder by bending the opposite elbow a bit. Take it up and out. We got 2 more here. Thread it through. And one more time, we'll take it up and out. We'll thread it through. And let's take it back up to hands and knees. We'll roll those shoulders back in circles a bit. Squeeze them behind the body, drop them down, and press them out. Reverse that direction. See if you can take the shoulders down, squeeze them back, and bring them up and forward. We'll do one more set of reverse circles for 3. Circle them back. And 1, and coming back up to that hands and knees position. We're gonna rock back toward a child's pose. So we can keep the knees and the lower legs parallel and rock back. You're also welcome to bring your feet together, knees apart if you need a little more room and want to get into those inner thighs a bit. Regardless, we bring those bottoms back toward the heels and walk the hands forward. Again, find a range that's working for you. Hips, knees, shoulders. Maybe wiggle one armpit down toward the mat and then the other. If your forehead touches the floor, go ahead and let it rest there. Maybe press the heels of your hands a little more firmly down into the mat. We're going to walk our hands toward your screen, bringing that far hand on top of the near hand. Take a big breath in. Feel that long side of the body stretching, the side that's away from your screen now. And then we'll exhale, moving through to the other side. We'll take that hand, cross it over to the other one. Take a big breath into that side closest to your screen here. Breathe it out. Let's go ahead and go one more time to each side here. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, we'll move over to that other side. Last time, big breath in. Exhale. We'll move it forward. We'll come back up to hands and knees. 2 or 3 more cats and cows, resetting that spine, reactivating those core muscles a little bit. Take them back to neutral, wag your tail side to side a couple times. We'll take it back to the middle. And let's go ahead and lie down. We'll go on our backs first here. Once you're on our back, let's go ahead and pull that knee closest to the screen. We'll pull it into your chest. Slide that other leg down along the floor. We're going to hang on just above that bent knee. Wiggle it across a little bit. First feeling a little stretch through that hip. Hold it there. You're welcome to take that arm closest to the screen and bring it out to the side. Hold it there. We're keeping that pelvis relatively anchored into the floor for now. If you want to take it a little farther, get a little bit of a twist through your low back. If that's something that feels good for you, you're welcome to keep that shoulder blade on the floor, on the side where the arm is stretched out, and gently pull that other leg slightly across your body, just rotating that hip up a little bit. We're going to oscillate here really gently. Taking a couple breaths, getting a little bit of mobility work to that low back. Again, if lumbar rotation is something that does not feel good for you, please keep your back nice and still. We'll come back to the middle. Let's hold on behind that thigh. Stretch that leg up till that first barrier that you hit. Maybe it's here, maybe it's all the way up. Maybe you guys are more flexible than I am. You can pull it a little closer to your face. We could wiggle, pointing and flexing a little bit. Maybe rolling that ankle in circles. Bend up the knee if you start to feel a lot through the outside of that shin. We'll pause that ankle. We're going to bend up that other leg, pressing your foot into the floor. We're going to cross that leg we just stretched over. We're going to touch that heel to your opposite knee. Push out gently on your thigh, getting into that hip opener a little bit. If you get a stretch here, great, hold it. If you want to take it further, you could pull that opposite knee up towards your chest, holding on either behind that thigh or in front of the knee. We're going for the max benefit right here on that side that's facing your screen. You could wiggle a little bit, rock side to side, get a little more into the different portions of that muscle there. We'll take it right back to the middle. Keep a hold of that other knee. We're going to pull it into your chest as that close leg closest to your screen straightens out along the mat. And here we'll take that far arm, open it up out to the side, and we'll pull that bent knee slightly across your body, getting into that far glute, the far outside of your hip. We'll hold it here. We can add a little wiggle moving into that rotation, gentle rotation if that feels good. Remember that far shoulder blade is anchoring down to the mat, keeping that upper body still as we pull that other knee gently across the body. Let's pull it back to the middle. We'll hold on behind that thigh and we'll stretch that other leg up toward the ceiling, flexing and pointing, finding the range that you move through with all those joints. That feels good. Again, you should feel some lengthening. You should feel some opening up through the back of your legs. Again, if you need to take any tension off the outside of that shin, go ahead and bend that knee up a little. You can roll that ankle around a bit. We'll hold that leg right there and let's bend up that other knee, placing that foot on the floor. We'll take the ankle to your close knee. Press that thigh out to the side a bit, getting into that hip. And if you want to take it farther from here, you pull that knee into your chest. Hold it there. We can rock side to side. Let's go ahead and unwind. We'll pull those knees into the chest, give them a hug, and we're going to roll to our side facing the screen. That top arm is going to be resting under your head. It could be overhead if that feels more comfortable, up to you. And if you have a strap or need a strap to be able to get to that ankle, go ahead and grab it now. We'll take a second here. Otherwise, you can grab onto your ankle. We're going to line the hip, the knee, and that foot up with each other. They're going to be basically parallel to the floor. And from here, with that bottom leg bent up to hip height to keep that back nice and still, we're going to stretch the top quad. We're going to pull that leg back, pulling into that upper thigh, into that quad. Hold it there. Hold it there. Go ahead and let go. We're going to take that top arm forward, stretch it toward the computer screen. Hold it there. Let's take that arm up and out to the other side. Open in the book. Take it up to the ceiling and bring it forward. Lift it up. Open it back. Lift it up. Take it forward. Two more here. Lift and open. And lift, take it forward. One more time, lift forward, open it back, lift it up, and we'll take it forward. Let's go ahead and take ourselves up. We're gonna go over to the other side. We'll go ahead and rest on that other arm. If you're not super comfortable with that elbow bent up behind your body, you're also welcome to have your hand out in front. And we'll hold it here. We're gonna keep that bottom knee bent up to 90 degrees. We'll find your strap around your ankle or grab that ankle itself, keeping that leg parallel to the floor. We're going to pull back into our quads, give the front of that thigh a little stretch. Take a few breaths here. Maybe squeeze that shoulder blade back toward the floor, backing down toward the floor. And if you have a little more room, a little more slack in the system, squeeze your glute on that top leg. That'll stretch into your quad a little bit more. One more breath. And we'll go ahead and let up, bring that knee up in line with the other. We'll take that top arm forward, touching the floor, and we'll open the book. Let's take that arm to the ceiling. Open it back toward the wall behind you. Take it up to the ceiling. Reach it forward. Take it up. Breathe it over. Take it up. Breathe it forward. Last two. Open. And lift. Take it forward. Last time up. Open it back. Up to the ceiling. And take it forward. And from here, we're going to push ourselves up to a sitting position. We're going to go ahead and sit cross-legged. Sit up nice and tall, reaching that rib cage up and away from your pelvis. And take the arms to the sides. Again, if this position is not comfortable, feel free to get a cushion under your bottom or to sit in a chair for this last part. We're going to take those arms out to the side, lifting that rib cage up. We're going to take a side bend. Drop that forearm toward the floor as we reach the opposite arm up and over toward the ceiling. Take it up. And let's go ahead and stretch to the other side. Lift it up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. We can add rotation here by taking it up, reaching it up and over, rotating the breastbone down toward the floor. Take it up. And we'll side bend, reaching that breastbone toward the floor for a little rotation. Let's take it up. Arms come out. We'll take those shoulders down and roll them out a little bit. And from here, let's tip an ear to a shoulder. Take it straight up. Ear to the other shoulder. And we'll take it straight up. And when you're ready, we're going to make our way to our feet again. We're going to come back up to hands and knees. We can either come straight up from here. I figured this is a good way to just orient ourselves before we got back up. If you want to move through a plank and then take that bottom up to the ceiling, giving yourself a little down dog type stretch, you're welcome to do that. We could pedal the feet out. We'll stretch the calves again in just a minute. So you're welcome to just stand straight up and wait for our next part. One more breath if you're here in the down dog position. And then we're going to walk the feet toward our hands. And we'll come on up to standing. Okay. Catch your bearings here for a minute. And when you're ready, we'll face forward. We're going to finish up with a really brief flow series, doing a little bit of lunge work. Those feet are going to be hip width apart. You're going to stand right in front of your mat. I'm going to stand back a little so you can actually see my head here. So we're going to keep those feet parallel if we can, staggered. We're going to step 1 foot back, find that lunge position, get that calf stretch. We're going to start here in our lunge. That knee does not go up in front of your toes. We're going to take that arm on the same leg as that back leg that you're, same side as the back leg that you're stretching. We'll take that arm up to the ceiling. We're going to side bend it. We'll take it up tall. We're going to take the hands down to the floor by our front knee. Again, feel free to do any part of this that feels good, skipping or maybe working slowly through the positions that maybe are a little harder for you. The arm on that bent leg side is going to lead up to the ceiling. Maybe you look over that shoulder. We're going to take that hand down, and that opposite arm comes up and out. We'll take it back down. Let's step forward to our front foot, come up nice and tall, and repeat it. Opposite leg comes back. That hand comes up, side bend, take it up. Hands come down for runner's lunge. Arm on the bent leg side comes up. It comes down. Maybe the other arm comes up and comes down. Let's go ahead and step forward. We'll come up tall. We're going to go one more time through the sequence. Step it back. Arm comes up. Side bend, take it up, runner's lunge, and rotate. Arm comes down, rotate, take it down, step it forward, come up nice and tall. Last time. Opposite leg comes back, arm comes up, take a side bend, come up tall, runner's lunge, rotate toward that bent knee, runner's lunge, rotate toward that straight leg. Take that arm down, step those feet together, and we'll come up nice and tall. And let's move back toward the middle of our mat. We're gonna bring those feet shoulder width apart, shake out those legs a little bit. And again, we're gonna tip an ear to a shoulder. Take a couple breaths here. And then we'll come up and over to the other side. Taking a couple breaths. Let's go ahead and turn those toes out just slightly. We're gonna soften up those knees. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Keeping your hand on one knee, or one hand on one leg. We're gonna take a big side bend. Come up tall. And again to the other side. Big side bend. Come up tall. Last time for each. And take it up. And side bend. And take it up. Let's take one more big knee bend. Arms come up. Clasp your palms. Reach into the ceiling. Arms down, feet together. One more big breath in. We'll take those palms down to the center. And thanks so much for waking up with me. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you on the mat again soon. Take care.